Okay. I believe I got it down. It's supposed to be, yeah. My stream. Okay. Yeah, but I'm on YouTube Studio right now. And on YouTube Studio, it's not doing anything. Why does this not? Hold on. No, it's not. You're basically getting an i5. Yeah. No, it's not. Oh, so it's about freaking time it actually shows up. Yeah, get the right tags and everything. Unfortunately, it was not allowing me to do this before I could actually start streaming. But now, it is what it is. All right, we're chilling now. So, yeah. So welcome to the J0lly-Troll-Cast, where we basically talk about the newest update that happened in Warzone right now, and yeah, basically what our thoughts on it are. And so I'm gonna pull up um, the actual patch notes and everything. Okay, so the first one, the stem. So this, correct. No, it just it is what it is. Um, yeah. So the first thing, the stem. So the stem was probably one of my favorite things to use, just throughout, you know, throughout Caldera, throughout Rebirth, and all of a sudden they decided, hey, we're gonna, this is a little too powerful. Which I agree. The stem slide was crazy. I mean, true. Well, you didn't really run fast. You just slid really fast. Because I think you ran it at a normal pace. Like I never did. You really? Ne- yeah, because I'm like, the moment you start sliding, I mean, you'll go from sliding like maybe 5 feet in a standard slide cancel to all of a sudden you hit that stimmy and you're going freaking 30, 40 feet on just one slide. It's crazy. And you were just zooming. But now so from what Raven was talking about, they said the stim effect now removed taking damage from weapon attacks. So basically what that means, like before, if you timed it right, you'd be getting shot and then you'd start stimming, and while you're stimming and while you're getting shot, you'll actually keep, you know, uh, renewing your health super fast, and it would take a lot more bullets to down you. So they completely removed that. You know, um, the slides exactly. Now the slide speed was reduced by 40%. Now, yeah, yeah. So if you slide like 5 feet normally, and this thing makes you slide 30 feet, 40% would mean you'd only be sliding right around 17 to 20 feet. Okay. No, not in this case. So he also said that the max slide time was reduced from 1.9 seconds to 1.3 seconds, which seems like a very slight nerf. Okay. It seems like it would still be viable. But what actually happened is the slide speed was reduced by next to like 80%. Like there was, 1 second. Oh, I had to sneeze. Oof. So the slide speed was reduced a lot, like way too much. It basically made it so that there was zero benefit to using stims besides when you're just, you got absolutely fried. You're now like half of a bullet and you just needed to get that, that extra health going immediately. That was the only that became the literal only purpose for using a stim. Versus before, you could use it and you could slide out of trouble. I know I remember using it where I was on top of a hill. I had some dudes pushing up, and I hit that stimmy, and I slid down the hill. And sliding down the hill when you're using a stimmy, bro, you are sliding farther than you could possibly imagine. I slid at least 60 feet, ran up behind them, and then shot them both down. It was great. And they were like, bro, where did he go? It was fantastic. But now this stupid little bug fix, and I hope they fix it because it is broken. Like it's not working how they intended, because they did intend for you to be faster and they did intend for you to have a decent slide when you stem. Just not, as ridiculous as it was before. Oh yeah. So, well, I'm gonna kind of go down the list, but outside of that, like, Brennan, you and I are just talking. You're thinking too much. You're a very opinionated person. Okay. So the one thing that like the first weapon adjustment that pops up is the Whitley, which I don't know if you guys have ever used. Like I don't know if you've ever used the Whit like if everybody else has ever used the Whitley before, but that thing is atrocious. And they said they buffed it. They said they buffed the minimum damage up. Max damage range was increased by an extra 5 meters, which isn't bad. But oh my gosh, man, try using that thing, and that's well, I mean, it shoots slow, and it doesn't have good range at all. Like like the maximum damage range is 38 meters. That's it. And there's a huge damage drop off after that. And so basically, anytime you're trying to shoot someone past 38 meters, actually 38.1, to be specific, anytime you're shooting anybody past that period of time, or after that, that range, you are essentially just throwing marshmallows at them. Slowly. Slow. The Whitley does not shoot fast at all, by any means. Yeah. And I'm like, this is. Go ahead. Interesting. Probably can't go inside, buildings and doors. Yeah, but that's all. That would also mean that there's no mechanics within the game, like within the area. You're essentially just looking at an image. So like with actual Caldera or Verdansk or anything like that, there's a lot of moving parts in the map. You know, there's doors. You got to be able to see through buildings. There's a lot of stuff inside the buildings, underground, all that stuff. There's a lot of things that come into play. Plus, the textures, because you're gonna be up close. Yeah, you could see it from that flight simulator, but you're not gonna be able to see all the minute details that come with it. So of course, you're basically just taking a picture. You're basically just taking what? Okay. Wait, what? What? At range. Oh my gosh. The Vargo's trash. That's funny. Yeah, that's true. That's so funny though. Okay, for long range. Yep. Okay. For range? So are you saying that those okay? So the Vargo has the fastest TTK at range. Is that what you're saying? That's bizarre. And everything else is like over 1,000. Interesting. That's crazy. Okay. I like. Bro, the bar is fun to use. I like it, especially when you kit it out properly. Like you end up. Oh yeah. So the biggest thing with the bar is you want to use the 30 round mag. Okay. That's gonna be the most effective. However, the bullet velocity on the bar is not great. It is really not. No, so it's and obviously it's gonna shoot slow. So how I end up kitting out the bar is I always end up putting the recoil booster on it because I need it to shoot faster. So I end up throwing that recoil booster on it. I put that 30 round mag. I got lengthened on there, and I like using that 2.5 times scope or whatever, and it fries people. It really does. But the like the kryptonite of that gun is when someone's strafing. It like what? You know what strafing is? Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm like, hold on, what? I'm like a burst. No, it's automatic. I was so confused. I'm like, no, no, it's just one of those things where it's like it'd be the same thing as trying to shoot at the person with a semi-automatic weapon while they're going side to side. It's very difficult, and like that's the biggest flaw for the bar. But if they're standstill and you hit your shots, bro, they're down immediately. It's fantastic. I love it. Now, the other thing that I really like about it is when you got a camping little Timmy or Billy and say they're sniping or something like that, you take your bar and you can literally, because it doesn't shoot that fast, so you can actually just tap it as if it is a single fire. You can just tap it and noggin them, and like 4 or 5 noggins, they're down. I say 4. You just hit them in the head 3 or 4 times, boom, done. You got them down. You don't have to worry about, you know, trying to like tap fire it or put it in single fire mode or anything like that. Now you just tap it, tap, 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 boom, down. It's fantastic. All right, what's next? Yeah. Hmm. So essentially, like the bar would be really good if you're using it at a much longer range. So I'm not talking, up to 50, 60 meters, which is your typical mid-range engagement. As anywhere between 30 to 60 meters. Like that range is crucial. Um, Now I was watching Iron the other day, and he was using this long range well gun, and he would fry people with it. Like he was literally using this thing as an AR, but a very mid-range AR, like between literally 20 meters up to about 60, 70, about 60 meters. He would fry people with this thing, and it does not matter. It was just instantly downing. The biggest issue is when you bring that to between 20 and 5 meters. That's when it starts to have an issue because a lot of these other SMGs, like the MP40 is going to beat it every time. The only time that the MP40 does not beat the well gun, that build specifically, is if the person just doesn't hit their shots. Yeah, but that TTK from 20 to 60 meters is fantastic on that long range welly. Like it was a beautiful thing to watch. It was great. So I thinking about maybe running that, especially in Caldera. Now Rebirth, that's a little sticky. Um, because exactly a lot of it is maybe what I would consider Louis range. Oh yeah, I mean you're sliding right in there. You forget about the DMs and you just slide right between them. You know, like this dude doesn't even take the first base. He goes straight into home plate. He's like, all right, here's my fill. Although one of my favorite things that you do that I haven't seen you do recently is every now and again when you run out of ammo, you will literally run around the person super fast, and they who have no like this could be like the sweatiest person on the planet, and you're like going in and out, back and forth, all this stuff, and all of a sudden you run out of ammo. So next thing you know, I see you just literally running around the person in circles, and this person has no idea what to do. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, you're running around this person and you're reloading at the same time. And then this person has no idea what to do because they don't even see you. They're like, I can't lock on, aim assist doesn't work, I'm broken. You just slap them. Hold on, did you just say stop licking my meat? Oh, oh man, these taste great. What do you mean? Okay, so I was like on to the next thing real quick. The new perk inside Warzone, Serpentine. Yeah, so Serpentine actually comes from Vanguard. Okay, that's a perk that they integrated from Vanguard, and the biggest thing with that is it reduces incoming damage if the player is sprinting. Okay, which it's really nice to have when you're trying to escape. It's fantastic because I've noticed that it takes you know probably another half a second to actually down them. Like it's like a half a second longer to down them than it would if they didn't have Serpentine. Which really, it's very interesting because with the meta right now, the first perk is kind of a toss up. Like that, yeah, it's a first perk. You haven't used it? What? He's talking about me. I was I was the definition of down bad. Okay, like I at that point I'm just waking up. You know, I wasn't waking up because I just got home from work, and I wanted to throw every excuse at the book. But yeah, here's what's crazy. Okay, I don't know if this is just a coincidence. It might be. It really might be. But the moment I start playing duos and trios with um um Nate. Like the moment it's Brennan and I, or it's Brennan, myself, and Nate, I start playing a lot better. Like a lot better. Oh man. Yeah, you were. There were you had your peak moments though, where you were trolling. Yeah. That I mean, that's exactly it too. You know, I'm like, yeah, I agree. And you know, it was just it was very different. Um, because I'm like, I wanted to play, you know, I wanted to ramble on the rebirth, wanted to tramps on these little Timmies and Billies, but I also wanted to play Caldera, you know, because I'm like Caldera for me is really fun right now. Yeah, but it's like it's you and I, you know, and you and I have good communication together. Sometimes we don't, but we understand each other. We know how to overcome those situations. We know how to talk to each other. When there's four people, a lot of times it's a lot harder to. Oh yeah. Exactly. Blow my own bubble. Yeah, I agree. And you know, especially like some of your biggest strengths uh, in Warzone, Rebirth, and so on and so forth. It is those late games, but it's also your communication. You know, the the only thing that drives me absolutely up the wall that you do, and it's funny because it happens a lot, is you're like, okay, I'm a flank, but let me go stop and get some coffee real quick. I'm gonna go take the train, okay, and then I'm gonna hop on a plane real quick. I'm gonna fly over here. They're never gonna see it coming. It's gonna be great. And for me, I'm like, so I'm really, really good. This is my superpower. I'm really good at shooting them to the point where they're almost dead. It's, hold on. Hold on. That was one time. It was one time, and I acknowledged that I'm like, okay, I actually only shot him like a little bit. And then you're like, I don't have any plates. I'm kind of a bullet myself, but if this dude's the actual bullet, I got this, you know? And then you go and jump and try to kill him. He's not a bullet. He's fully plated. One time, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of screwed that up a little bit. Oh yeah, and like for me, because you know, I'm down and everything. It feels like an eternity for when I'm like, okay, my teammate is right next to me. I get this kid, you know, 3 or 4 HP, and I'm like, okay, he's a bullet, he's a bullet, he's a bullet. I'm gonna scream this at the top of my lungs until people understand he's a bullet. And, and then it feels like an eternity before any of my teammates are like, wait, what? He's a bullet? Hold on, let me make a flank. Let me make a flank. And I'm like, no, just jump on him. Let's jump on him. Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's true. So that's that's something I need to work. I'd be like, no, he's weak. He's weak. I'll say that instead. I struggle. That's a fact. That's a fact. I don't even know. So, okay, I want to continue this. Um, so one of the coolest things that Warzone, Caldera, Rebirth did, especially Rebirth 2, they added lootable perks. Okay, now some people are kind of wondering, okay, well, what perks are actually lootable? Because I've only seen a few of them. And when I first saw them, I'm like, oh, all perks are going to be lootable, right? It is not all perks. It is not all perks. Actually, the oh, it is all perks. I'm dumb. That's just me being dumb. However, before they did not have all the lootable perks. Right now, they just added Serpentine. Obviously, they added Tune Up, which is fantastic. I love that. Oh yeah, and yeah. No, because I used to run it. I used to run the tune up all the time because it, faster weapon swapping. Oh, that's amped. What am I thinking of? Oh, that's what that is. Okay, that makes sense. I totally flipped that in my brain. Okay, so then there's also Tracker. Yeah. Now, Hardline is also a new lootable perk. And now, Hardline in Call of Duty history has always been, when you get Hardline, you'll basically be able to get, your score streaks a little bit sooner. Um, can you look up for me what Hardline actually does in Warzone? I think you're right. Then what is Kill Chain? Okay, so that's Kill Chain. Hardline. Oh, that's what the okay, that makes sense. And then obviously EOD, which is phenomenal. That's like there's a yeah, fire. So okay, Oh, grab a snack, man. Go grab a snack. So, one thing that I absolutely love about these perks is besides Serpentine, like just the Serpentine tune up, tracker, hardline, kill chain, EOD, they're the type of perks that you would never typically run, right off rip. Like with your load and everything, these none of these perks are typically ones that you would actually use with your loadout. However, these things are awesome for it's like that extra cherry on top, because when you get these, it just adds to your perks, So when you pick up one of these perks, okay, and this has been a question to some people. It's like, okay, well, if I have these perks right now and I go get my loadout, is my loadout going to change my perks? Is it going to forget about the perks that I just picked up and replace all of them for my loadout perks? Is that going to happen? No, it doesn't. You actually keep the perks that you picked up, and you'll keep those perks until you die. So these extra perks that they put, it's like it's just adding a cherry onto your Sunday, like getting tracker on top of your perks already. You're like, oh, this is phenomenal, especially when you're in those tight spaces and stuff. You're like, where did this guy go? And then EOD, of course, because you always got that one little Billy who's got. And now, my co-partner, Brandon, over here, knows far too well about Claymores and Bettys and all that stuff. He has a very fond relationship with them. There's been multiple occurrences where they engage in a very intimate relationship. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you agree? That's like you're on keyboard and mouse. All you have to do is hit the one button and you go straight to prone. What are you doing? Like, do you have that button? Okay. So yeah. So when he picks up EOD, he's chilling. He's fat chilling. It's great. Now, one thing that I really liked, so they experimented with that um in the previous season 3 update. They experimented with adding the perks to the lootable chests in Caldera. And it was great. It was an absolute hit, and people loved it because it encouraged people to loot a lot more. You know, However, it adds a different um part of the game where people like myself who are really attracted to shiny things, we can kind of get stuck looting all the time because we want these perks, you know? And so instead of, being with your teammates and helping your teammates, I may be over here because I saw a chest and I'm like, hey, I might find a great perk. Like one of my favorite perks of all time to pick up out of a chest is tempered. That is like I don't have many classes right now that have tempered on them. I need to have more classes that run tempered because tempered is just it is the most underrated perk I think in the whole game. Like that thing just it saves you so much. And the most overrated perk in the game. Ooh. That's a good one. I think amped. Yeah. I would say amped is probably the most overrated perk in the game. No, I don't think ghost, because ghost screws you. um well, so like we don't grab ghosts anymore because like there was a time where you couldn't buy UAVs, and like you couldn't buy them. Then they went, I think they got an increase in price for a bit. They're like oh, that's right. And so like running ghost seemed, you know, pretty pointless when not a whole bunch of UAVs were being popped. Also, they updated the ghost perk to where you would still be shown if you weren't moving. Okay, like if you were just camping like a little Billy, and you were running ghost, if you weren't moving, you would still show up. Now they updated it a little, like they actually updated the ghost perk recently, like in this past update. And the update for the ghost perk, um, basically you only, because before the moment you'd move at all, you would show up. It was literally only if you weren't moving. Now you show up if you're moving. Like if you're, you know, hold on, let me rewind a little bit. You would only show up on the mini map in the previous update, not this update. In the previous update, you would only show up on the map if you were not moving at all. But the moment you'd move like a little bit, so if you were just strafing a little bit side to side, you would not be picked up. Now they updated it to where if, and I believe this is correct. I'm like 98% sure. But you will pop up on the mini map if you're ghosted and you're moving slightly. Like it takes a lot more movement for you to not show up on the mini map when you're ghosted, which again prevents little campers. So I think ghost is actually an underutilized perk right now, because how many times, like, we still pop UAVs like crazy. We do. Everyone's popping UAVs like crazy. I think it's actually a really underrated perk, because ever since those changes happened to the UAVs, and they were a lot less common, so people strayed from using Ghost because it wasn't as useful. And there were other perks that were a little bit more useful, aka restock or tempered. Those are kind of the go-tos. Now, UAVs pop up all the time. They really do, especially with all the fire sales that happen during the game. I think Ghost is going to be one of the more utilized perk. Like, it should be more utilized. It really should. Because how many times are we, you know, trampsing through Caldera? We got UAVs popped and everything. We're just chilling. We're like, oh, we don't have anybody by us for like a good 200 meters, 300 meters. So we're just kind of lackadaisically just walking around like la 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 la. And next thing you know, we got two little billies that are just, doing the same thing, but they see us and then they start shooting at us And we're like, whoa, what the heck is this? And they were ghosted the entire time. But since they were moving, we couldn't see them at all. And, it was definitely overrated. It's not the most overrated, but it's definitely overrated. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Now we're talking rebirth. Big difference. Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. Here's a little stickler, okay? I haven't seen Ghost as a lootable perk yet. Okay? So, that being said, I've picked up restock quite a few times. I've picked up tempered quite a few times from boxes. So why not run Ghost instead of restock or tempered and just loot a bit, especially in these, you know, these more popular or like these heavy lootable areas. So run Ghost right off rip, and then just loot up a bunch, pick up your perks, pick up your tempered, your restock, all that stuff. But now you're off the mini map. You've got tempered, so you only need to put in 2 plates, and you're chilling. You're fat chilling. You know, it's just I think that would be like a lot. I don't know, man. Like I think I'm gonna start running Ghost, especially in Caldera. Now Rebirth, different scenario, completely different scenario. I would not run Ghost at all in Rebirth. It's pointless. You know, exactly. So I'm like, I think tempered in Rebirth is the most valuable perk to use, 100% to a T. What extent would say that? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I disagree. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Okay, I can see that. Okay. That is true. Um, okay. Now, one thing that Brennan really hasn't experienced right now is the new underground transit system. Now, the new transit system I've actually used a few times, and it's really nice. I like it. I think it's pretty dope. So basically, with it, you've got all the main areas of the map, and each tunnel that you go to has access to a couple different of those areas. You can't access all the areas, of course, but you got a couple different areas that you can access, and you just enter that tunnel and you're good. Because you jump in to a little bunker, and then you've got your multiple different areas that you can go, and you just pick an area and you go there. And there's different like symbols or different lights on the door or on the little area thing, and it's like yellow is if there's gas in that area, you don't want to go there. Or if the gas is coming, you don't want to go there. Another one is red, and red signifies that there's actually people in the tunnel or near the tunnel. Now, one thing I found out as a spectator, okay, as a spectator, you'll actually be able to see the inside of the room when they hop in the tunnel. Okay, they hop in the tunnel, they hop in that train or whatever. As a spectator, you'll actually see the area where they will be getting to, and you'll be able to see if there's camping little Timmies in there. So I had it where I'm like, oh, I see this guy. He's just camping. He's just waiting for someone to come out of that tunnel. And so I told my teammates, like, hey, shoot immediately once you land. Like once you get there, shoot immediately. That's okay. And so I told my teammate to shoot absolutely immediately, and he did. He ended up cracking the guy, and my other teammate ended up downing him. And it was great. But it was just one of those things where it's a cool thing to have, especially as a spectator. I was just talking about the new underground transit system. So I love the new underground transit system. It just adds another. It adds another aspect of the game that allows you to move around a lot more, like a lot faster. And I was talking about a couple different colors. So green is you're good to go. Yellow means that gas is coming in that area. So if you go into that area, like gas is gonna be coming in soon. If it's red, that means there's people nearby. So if you yeah. So like the tunnel or whatever is gonna have different color, like different lights above it. It's either gonna be green, yellow, or red. Red, expect people the moment you enter. Okay. Now, one thing that I found out was the moment you enter that train, tunnel, whatever, as a spectator will actually see the area that you will be getting to before your teammates does. So there's like a little cutscene. Yeah. So if I'm spectating you, you go to the tunnel, you see that it's red, you enter it. Hold on. Let me explain. You'll hit that tunnel, and then there's going to be a cutscene for you. I don't see that cutscene at all. I see exactly where you're going to be. So I see inside of the next tunnel. And in this one scenario that I was in, I saw that there was a guy chilling, just waiting. And I saw that he was right in front of like where your reticle would be. So I told Roro, I was like, Nate, start shooting immediately when you enter. And so, you know, the moment he entered the room, he started, you know, the moment he entered the room, he started firing immediately, saw the guy. Now, his aim initially was off, but he was able to adjust by a little bit and ended up cracking the guy. And my other teammate, I think it was Chi. Chi ended up landing, seeing it, and then ended up downing the guy. It was great. It was a team fight. But it was a cool, you know, it was a cool aspect of the game. It was awesome. But I love the new transit system. I think it's fantastic. And then well, I'll be going through the new I'm going through the list right now, and so when I get to it, you'll remember it. Or if you do remember it, just let me know. So one of the other things is the new lootable speed, like the new lootable speed boosts. Now, I remember playing with Brendan, and he used that speed boost while he pushed a guy, and it is it just seems completely unfair when you don't have a speed boost and you're facing someone who's on that speed boost. Man, it feels like you're fighting the Flash, I swear. Like, it's just, this person slides up to you super fast, okay? They slide up to you super fast, and they're able to go side to side. They're able to run around you super fast, strafing everything. It is like they are smoking crack, and they just fry you. And you're like, bro, I don't even know what happened. And you're just looking at yourself like, what am I doing? You're debating whether or not you should play anymore, all these things. And speed boost is crazy. So I think it's cool, but I think it's way too common. Like, I specifically remember looting a chest, finding a speed boost, and the very next chest that I looted had another speed boost in it. Like, the speed boost is way too common, personally. Because I know for a fact that people out there, they're gonna see it, and they're gonna be facing someone who's using that speed boost, and it is gonna completely screw them. You're like, man, I can't even aim at this dude. He's breaking my screen. My aim assist isn't locking onto this person at all. It's bad. Now, one of the other cool things that they changed was to increase the speed of a downed person. If they did, they adjusted the speed very minutely. I haven't noticed a big difference. I'm still moving super slow while I'm down. I don't think it was actually changed a whole lot. They maybe changed it by like 5%. It's not noticeable. It really isn't. Okay. So the other thing is some tokens that they are using that you can find right now. You can find redeploy tokens and those gulag tokens. So nice. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's a huge aspect of the game that could be utilized. It makes it a lot more fun. You know, especially like you die right away. Okay. Like, especially in solos too. Like, if you die right away, like you land top peak, You're like, okay, you know, you land and there's like 6 guys there. You take out 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, and you know you got that 1 or 2 guys that end up finishing you off, and you're like, crap, this sucks. You go to the gulag, you win your gulag, and you get close to the end, and you know you just you don't have any more gulag, and so you get cells and everything, and like, dang, this sucks. However, now with the gulag tokens, you can go back to the gulag. You find a gulag token, which they're not super common, but they're common enough where it's not, you know, next to impossible to find. So you find these gulag tokens, you take the gulag token, and you already been at the gulag, but now you can go again. Then you can win again. And it just gives you that extra chance to get back in the fight. It's fantastic. And same thing with the redeploy token. The redeploy token is the same thing as resurgence. Okay, except you don't have to wait. It's just the moment you die, you just get respawned immediately. And you don't have to go to the gulag. It is phenomenal. I love it. It is such a like beautiful thing that they added to the game. I think it was absolutely perfect. Welcome back. I was just talking about the new tokens, the gulag tokens and the redeploy, like, are so phenomenal. You know, especially in solos, or you know when you're trying to get back your team and all that stuff, and you end up, you know, you win your gouge, and then, you know, but your teammate doesn't, like none of your teammates do, and you're, you know, looking around for money and all that stuff, but then you find a redeploy token, and you're like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. So if in case, you know, because you're struggling to find a weapon, you find double barrels, you find those M1916s all over the place, and you're just like, so I've actually fried people with the Clouser. Like, just in this recent update, because it got a big buff, I've been able to smack some folks with that thing. So, yeah, so, and then the other thing is they increased the lootable self-revives, which before was super rare. Super rare. Now, super common. It's not super common, but it's more common. And I like that. You know, the biggest thing that that Raven was doing to Warzone right now, especially in Caldera, because they realize not a whole lot of people are playing Caldera right now. And there's so many people having complaints about it. And the biggest reason was there's not a whole lot of opportunities to continue to play while you're actually in the game. Like, it felt like your chances of winning were too slim and not as rewarding. And so what they're doing right now is they're adding a bunch of stuff to keep you in the game. You know, like some of the biggest things that they've changed is the amount of money it takes for you to purchase someone back. 3,000 versus 4,000, which, you know, I don't, like, maybe it doesn't seem like a whole lot at first, but man, when you're in there and you're trying to find that extra $1,000 for 4,000, bro, that's like, that could be a killer. So the $3,000 is beautiful. And the other thing is, this was a huge change that they did. They made it so that when you die, you keep 50% of your money that you had. It used to be 80-20. Exactly. That's what it used to be. Now it's 50-50. So here's where it comes really big into play. Okay. So, especially in Caldera, specifically in Caldera, you know, you got those money crates. So you land on a money crate, you get the money, you grab the money, but then all of a sudden you die right away. Okay. well, look, you got 6 grand. Like, you got six. Well, hold on. Yeah, you got 6 grand. That's 2 teammates. You win your Gouge, boom. Or even if you don't win your Gouge, you still have 6 grand. And someone who buys you back, you're like, listen, I got 6 grand. I can buy the other guys back. We're chilling. We're fat chilling. It's so great. Like, that was huge. They also changed the amount of money that spawns in the map. It was minute, but you could definitely tell you could find a lot more money now versus before. Um, Now the other thing that it did, which hasn't been very noticeable, at least in my experience, they changed the player count in Warzone from 150 to 120. And that was based on a statistic that they were doing, and they realized that, like, there was a specific percentage of people that were AFK in most matches, and they just felt that this way it'd be a lot easier to find games for a lot more people, so they're not constantly waiting in the lobby. They can jump into a game immediately, have a lot of fun. Okay, big W. Let's see. Quality of life improvements. So the HUD improvement. I love that. Yeah. So basically, if people don't know, they expanded the squad HUD. And when they did that, they changed the fact that you can actually see if they have Gulag. You can see if they have self-revive. You can see if they have a vest. You can see if they have a redeploy token. You can see, I believe that you can see their score streaks. Yep. And the other thing is you can act like it allows you, like, there's a thing that totals up the total amount of money that you have, so you never have to do math. Because some people don't do math well. And they're like, bro, I don't know if we have the money to buy Lodi or to buy Timmy back, But it actually tells you. So it, like, huge win. I love that. I think it's fantastic. Let's see. Another thing that these are probably two of the biggest but underemphasized changes that they made. The first one, they completely improved the footstep audio. Yeah. And see, here's the thing. People are so used to complaining about it that I'm like, people are so used to complaining about it that they didn't even realize that it has dramatically increased. Like, you can hear people so well. You really can. The only thing that I've noticed is that you can't hear as well as when people are coming up the zip. You don't hear that as well. But you can hear footsteps really easily. That was a huge thing. And right now, you don't hear a whole lot of people complaining about, I like the audio and this is chalked, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't hear his footsteps. He just ran up to me and whatever. The only time, like, personally, that I've been upset because I couldn't hear the dude is when I have, a bunch of people talking in my ear and this dude comes out to me and just fries me. The only time. But not the person I'm talking to right now. All the time. But, like, it was huge. And we were, like, at first, we heard that they were going to change the audio, that they were going to fix the audio. And it's taken a while. But then again, we don't know like how much needed to change in order for that to be a thing. But they changed it and it's fantastic. It's been wonderful. I love it. Now, the other thing that was affected was the melee damage was dramatically reduced. Beautiful. Now, in my previous game, like in the last game I played, there were 2 times where I was able to land on someone and melee them to death. Here's why. Yeah, with the 4 hits, because it did take 4 hits. Like, this dude was 2 plates, and I hit him 4 times, and then he was down. It wasn't 3 times, it was 4 times. And it also depends on where you're hitting them as well. So when you're meleeing someone, make sure you're jumping and meleeing them. Like, jump and melee. Trust. Jump, melee. Jump, melee. Jump, melee. That's his dog. Oh, tape is chewy. Anyway. So, yeah, so you, like, when you're meleeing someone, make sure you jump and hit them in the nog. Because you hit them in the noggin, it's going to down them a lot faster, and it actually does more damage. Because I remember specifically, I was up against this one person. We both landed at the same time. And we both started meleeing each other at the same time. He landed the first melee before I did. But he wasn't jumping. I was jumping. He landed it, hit my body. I hit him in the noggin, hit him in the chest. Hit him in the noggin, hit him in the chest. Wait, no. Chest, noggin, yeah. So I hit him in the chest first, jumped, hit him in the noggin, hit him in the chest, hit him in the noggin. No. We, like, hold on. Listen. Not true. Anymore. Okay? The lunge is the same thing with mouse and keyboard right now, too. You still do the lunge with mouse and keyboard. No, it didn't buff it. It's just a thing. It's just always been a thing. But like this person was in my face and we were both hitting each other, but this person was always hitting my chest, and I hit this person in the chest, head, and he hit me 4 times before I hit him 4 times. But because I did it, to the head, he was able to get down before me, and I was the bullet. I was the absolute bullet. But it was just one of those things. It's fantastic. I loved it. I'm so happy that it's 4 hits now instead of 3. They said they adjusted the slide camera lock, which basically, if you're sliding and trying to look down, it wouldn't let you before. I've still run into that. Yeah, well, supposedly. However, I've still ran into that issue. I don't believe it's changed. Yeah. Let's see. So they increased the damage of all lethals. No, not except for. So they increased the lethal damage by frag grenades by 24.5%. Yeah, so throwing knives hits to the upper torso and head will one-shot down. No. Damn. Yeah, so everything was increased a lot by over 20%, except for the Semtexes. Semtexes were increased by 5%. Yeah. Now, the other thing that was increased was the health on rebirth. Now, it's a very uncomfortable change for a lot of these people on rebirth. Think they're so good. But like I think it's actually really beneficial. Um yeah. And that's just the thing. You just got to get used to it because a lot, before you could time, like you pretty much had it ingrained how many bullets it's going to take to kill this person. So you'll be shooting at the person, and then all of a sudden, you literally stop shooting so you could shoot at the next person. But then afterwards, oh yeah, I've done it. Like afterwards, you realize like crap, that person's not down. And you start shooting the next guy, and you're dead. Yeah. So so like that'll take some time. Um, Another thing that not a whole lot of people have talked about recently is the gulag loadouts. Okay, that's been an issue. That's been a huge issue since the dawn of gulag. Now it became a bigger issue once they allowed you to come back with the weapons that you won the gulag with. Um, because you would come back with horrible weapons. You would come back with yeah, you come back with a yeah, you just come back with horrible weapons you can't do anything with. Now they actually changed it. Yeah, now they actually changed it to where the weapon that you have in the gulag is actually completely viable to use in normal Warzone. Okay, like you can land and still do effective damage, to anybody. Like specifically, there was a time where Brandon and I were playing duos. I got out of the Gouge, he gets out of the Gouge, and I didn't get out of the Gouge. I just landed. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Forget about it. I didn't have my Gouge. I was just the redeploy token. And I just happened to find a weapon on the ground. Actually, two weapons. They're both the KGM 40s. One's gray, one's green. And then I just killed both these two Timmys and Billies that were my bounty at the time. And it was fun. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So let's see. They fixed a bunch of issues. Let's see. The Blixen, the Don, the Blix. Okay, the Blixen. It's got a it's got a really tedious unlocking challenge. Basically, where you get 3 slide kills in a game for 15 games. Now, it's totally worth unlocking right now, completely. However, one thing that's kind of nice is the ground loot version right now is a burst. It's a burst. It slaps so hard. It slaps harder. It slaps harder than a abuela's flip flop. I swear. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think it is too. But that thing is phenomenal for sure. Meta. Once people like, it's gonna take a little bit for people to actually fully unlock it because it's still new and it still takes some grinding to actually unlock it. Um, I'll be grinding that a little bit later today, so I can unlock it. I've almost got it maxed out actually. I think I've got like 65 or something like that. And um, they made they made a bunch of changes to a bunch of different weapons, and quite frankly, uh, it's opened the meta, but it's confused the crap out of me. Especially when it comes to Rebirth. Rebirth, I'm a little confused right now. I'm still working on finding you know, a weapon that I feel comfortable with. I still love the Type 100. Type 100 is my baby. Um, that I'm super comfortable with. But before, like especially in solos, I would specifically only run the uh the MW AUG. The MW AUG was so good. It had the fastest TTK. It did. It got nerfed, and they also reduced the range on it because the range was really solid too. They reduced the bullet velocity. They reduced the minimum damage and the maximum damage. I'm like, bro, this thing was so good, and they just put it in the drain. Yeah, the other thing that they nerfed absolutely to the ground, this thing isn't even viable anymore, is the AMAX. And it breaks my heart. The AMAX literally, it had no reason to be touched at all whatsoever. No reason. And they just completely was like, you know what? We don't want anybody using this anymore. This thing is absolutely going to be trash. So they completely trashed it. And I was just, it's so sad. It hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings. So much. They really buffed the AS-44, which is still good. Let's see. They increased the bullet velocity to Cooper. They nerfed it's just about everything. But Brennan, what is some of the, like, which weapons are you really enjoying right now? Okay. Okay. This so the STG, it wasn't like it was frying people before. They didn't even touch it. That thing is still slapping like crazy. That thing is phenomenal right now. And it took so long for the STG to be even remotely good. Like I there's no shot I asked who said that. I don't know. It, I don't know. But uh, let's see. I remember I started using the M1 Grand, and before it was like I thought it was hitting pretty well. Like you would just, you know, three tap someone and they would just die. And that was kind of fun to use. But the fact that they use a sniper ammo is kind of annoying. So here's what's stupid about the M1 Grand. Okay, this is literally the stupidest thing in the world. It uses the same ammo as the bar. The BAR shoots 30-06 rounds. The M1 Garand shoots 30-06 rounds. They shoot the same bullet. The M1 Garand, like those two guns in real life do not do different damage. Okay? They shoot the same bullet. The only difference is that the M1 Garand is a single shot and the BAR breaks people's shoulders and is fully automatic. Oh yeah, it's classic. Love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. But the fact that they made it so that the M1 Garand uses sniper ammo, and the BAR uses AR ammo is kind of bananas. Now, nobody talks about that, but I do. Apples, because you don't compare apples to bananas. um, like it's just one of those things that just doesn't make any sense. Because if you look, it says 30-06, 50 round, 40 round, whatever. Like, bro, ammo and grain use the same ammunition. Same ammunition. That, like, those rifles should use AR. 100% should use AR. Like, I liked how Cold War had those semi-automatic rifles that would use AR. That's the best way to do it. Because in Modern Warfare, those semi-automatic rifles would not use AR. They would use sniper ammo. And nobody would use them. No, yeah, like nobody's using them in Warzone. If they are, they're doing it just to be a troll. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just uses sniper ammo. And it's a lot of sniper ammo. That's a lot of sniper ammo. But, you know, it's just one of those things. They changed it so that the MX silencer actually increases the bullet velocity to 15%, up from 10%, which is phenomenal. And the F8 stabilizer increases the damage range by 15%. So the F8 stabilizer might be usable for some of the SMGs. Now, a lot of people, when they're using the SMGs, they like to go for that recoil booster. They like to go for that rapid fire. Yeah, because it's going to increase your TTK by 10%. Because it speeds up your bullets by 10%, so it's going to increase your TTK by 10%, which is ideal. But in Caldera, yeah. In Caldera, when your range, you're likely to engage at a range much further than super up close. Maybe the F8 stabilizer might be a good way to go. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Apparently, they made a 70% adjustment to increase the brightness of the infamous Rose outfit. Yeah, that is weird. Okay, that is all the is majority of the updates that we've seen. There's so many gun changes that it's really hard to cover them all, especially without using all of them. So I can't really share my personal experiences with all of them. Except for the Whitley, which I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, granted, maybe I just haven't kitted it out properly. And if so, that would have been, maybe if you kit it out properly, it'd be a lot better. But ground loot right now, it is not good. It is not good. But anyway, that concludes the very first the J0lly-Troll-Cast. This kid's the biggest troll in Warzone, basically. All right. Peace out, everybody.